This right here is the hottest battleground for the future of automotive revenues. The dashboard. See, while you may only really use this screen for music, navigation, and calls, in the future it's set to be used for a lot more. Traditional automakers plan on using this space to sell a suite of features and services in a market that some analysts estimate will be worth some $1.5 trillion by 2030. But at the same time, tech giants like Apple and Google are pushing to gain deeper control of your vehicle and take over more of your dash. And now, battle lines are being drawn. So who is winning the battle of the dashboard? Let's find out. No, please don't! Quite enough of that. Now, I know I've said this before, but if the car that you're driving doesn't already receive downloadable upgrades and updates over the air, then there's a strong chance that the car that you buy in the future will. And that's because there's set to be quite a lot of money in it. Or as Tesla CEO Elon Musk said in an earnings call,
we could sell for zero profit for now, and then yield actually tremendous economics in the future through autonomy.
GM has said it expects to generate between $20 to $25 billion in revenue from software-enabled services by 2030. Stellantis has forecast roughly $22.5 billion for the same time, and Accenture predicts that digital services will make up a whopping 40% of global automotive revenues by 2040. Now, that's crucial for these automakers, because right now, they're struggling to make money on EVs.
The profit margins on these are much smaller because the batteries are still expensive and they haven't scaled yet.
That's Mike Colias, who covers autos for WSJ.
For the next decade, investors are kind of wondering, well, how are you going to bridge that shortfall in the profit margins that you're used to on your big internal combustion? The answer to an auto executive is, well, we're going to have all this digital revenue and subscription services.
So, what do these automakers plan on selling? Well, at the basic level, there will be the usual offerings of music and entertainment, as well as navigation services to things like parking spots, valets, EV chargers, and gas stations. Then there's subscriptions to physical in-car options that used to be add-ons, like heated seats, more horsepower, or improved handling. But one of the most lucrative subscriptions is set to be autonomous driving. It may not be here yet, but that hasn't stopped some automakers betting big on it. Or, as Musk said,
we expect our vehicles over time will be able to generate significant profit through autonomy.
Now, some of these upgrades are set to be accessed through smartphones and computers. But if automakers are going to start selling through the dash, they're going to need to get someone out of the way first.
CarPlay is the smarter, safer way to use your iPhone in the car.
Chances are your car is compatible with Android Auto.
Yep, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. See, for years, automakers' own infotainment systems lagged behind that of smartphones, mainly because cars operate on longer product cycles than smartphones.
10 plus years ago, the car companies, I think, thought they could do this interface on their own. They tried. The infotainment touchscreens in the cars weren't very good. And so Apple and Google came up with these solutions to essentially mirror your phone on the touchscreen of the car. And a lot of consumers now rely on this as their main interface for the car.
Now, for a while, this partnership was working. Dash screens were pretty small and the smartphones didn't really have much interaction with the car itself. But now, those screens are getting bigger.
We designed the new Android Auto UI to take advantage of those larger screens.
And tech companies are reaching deeper into the car.
There's an opportunity for iPhone to play an even more important role.
In 2022, Apple announced that not only would CarPlay be able to take over the whole dash, including the instrument cluster, but that the software would reach far deeper under the hood.
Tune your car's radio or change your temperature without ever leaving the CarPlay experience. This is just a taste of what the next generation of CarPlay will bring.
That means that Apple could potentially access some of the very features that automakers are trying to monetize. And we all know how good Apple and Google are at selling downloads and subscriptions.
I mean, that's what Google and Apple do, right? I mean, they offer you apps and features to pass your time. So it's a battle for that space.
I spoke to Apple and Google, but neither would tell me about future automotive plans. But even if Apple and Google don't monetize their offerings, their software still takes over the dash.
If you've got a tech giant sitting in between you and your customer, it's going to make it a lot harder to, monetize that stuff.
So it may not be much of a surprise that GM has stopped supporting Android Auto and Apple CarPlay on future EV models.
I know that GM considered letting CarPlay live alongside of its new interface, but they ultimately felt like they were just going to be fighting for eyeballs.
That decision was met with immediate criticism.
Yeah, I mean, I heard from a lot of people who said, I'll never buy another GM car again, and I think GM knows that. And to that extent, it's a gamble.
So is this the beginning of the end for CarPlay and Android Auto in cars? Well, not exactly. See, even though these softwares won't be supported in future GM EVs, the company still plans on running its own infotainment system on a version of Android's operating system, so Google will still be in the car. And despite GM's actions, a few automakers appear to be following suit. For now, at least.
I asked a number of executives from other companies. Almost all of them said, no way, we have no plans to remove those from the cars. I think they see that as potentially hurting sales.
But that could all change. See, right now, digital services only make up around 5% of automotive revenues. But as that percentage starts to increase, don't be surprised if you see more automakers start to unplug the smartphone.